videotaping?
We are. We are rolling camera. We're live.
Yay.
Woohoo! This stuff down on the lower part of my legs, I know it's new to you, but it's called sunshine. It's coming through the windows. Isn't that cool? Hey, I think we're going to come out of this thing called winter and all that darkness and everything, and we're going to actually have some good weather. Looking forward to it. I'm just kind of really have had it with and it does weird things on my green screen. Probably going to have to fix that too. Never, yeah. Well, that's what you get to try new things when sunshine comes around, because we don't get much of it here. Hey, welcome back to the Marshmallow Man and another week of the strangeness that goes on here. I want to tell you, first off, that you folks are really good at giving nuclear reactors a bath. It worked out really nice. We cleaned it right up, and it was fully ready for operation as soon as it dried out. We gave it a good toweling down, turned it on, and it ran fine. So, for a nuclear reactor, that's pretty cool. Had University of Puget Sound in here, 10 students and a couple of professors, and really had a good time. That was the first time that they had seen the fuser and had seen it run. They are, in fact, copying us with my permission. They are. I'm mentoring their flock, bringing them along in the world of fusers, and they have much nicer equipment to play with than we do. I mean, the fundamental fuser vessel is like twice the size of the one we've got. It's huge. And if you went out and tried to buy the kind of stainless steel they're playing with, it's in the $30,000 to $60,000 range. I mean, it's just huge stuff. However, on a college budget, they're still scrounging for some of the incidentals, so they have not gone to the place yet where they have mass flow controllers and deuterium gas, et cetera, et cetera. So we are not mixing around with neutrons yet. However, they have first light. They have plasma. And invited me down there Thursday. Was it Thursday? No, Thursday. It was Wednesday. Wednesday I went down to the University of Puget Sound, their physics department. Lovely campus. Nice. Didn't know they'd been around for like 100 years. Wow. You know, I thought UPS, United Parcel Service, right? Nope, University of Puget Sound. It's just down there in Tacoma. And so they have a great physics program, a lot of toys. Got to visit several other labs, take a look at their telescopes. They've got a 12-inch, we've got an 8-inch, so gives you an idea. That thing was so big, two guys could not pick that thing up. That's one of those telescopes that you get it and you set it up in an observatory. Don't try to take it anywhere in your car because it's just not going to fit. But lovely instrument. We are going to be moving alongside them and their training and making sure that they follow the safety procedures, and hopefully I can talk them into a badging program and some other of those kinds of things, because they are important. At the end of the day, Department of DSHS, Office of Radiation Protection, will provide them some direction as well. They're in the process of reaching out. One of the gentlemen I understand that was a mentor here, Mark Henry, has retired. Didn't know that. So it's all kind of new people down there. I suppose we're probably going to have to reintroduce ourselves here at some point in the near future. Tonight we're not in the reactor room. David has some really interesting biology for us to go play with. So I'm going to turn it over to him.
do want to check. Anybody online needs to do a presentation tonight?
Silence.
Not hearing anything.
Nope.
So I guess not.
Okay. So, David, go ahead and take it away.
Okay. Well, spring has sprung. Love is in the air. Young man's fancy turns to love. Why is that? Well, we're going to look at one of the reasons tonight as we study the chemistry of pheromones. And where's my clicker? Ah, found it. So what is a pheromone? It's a secreted or excreted chemical factor that triggers a social response in members of the same species. I want to go over that again. It's a secreted or excreted chemical, a chemical factor. It's given off of you. It triggers a social response, and we're going to look at those responses in members of the same species. If it triggers a response in another species, that's not considered a pheromone. And so some things that used to be thought of as pheromones, they're no longer classified that way. Pheromones are chemicals capable of acting like hormones. Now, remember, hormones normally act very slowly over time. Pheromones, some are slow and some are very fast. They act like hormones outside of the body. They're not acting within you. Outside the body of the secreting individual, so it's affecting others. It's impacting the behavior of the receiving individuals, the ones that are being affected by that. Our screen up there is looking a bit weird. Is that? Okay. The word pheromone was coined by two people, Peter Carlson and Martin Lucier, in 1959. It's also sometimes called ectohormones because they're outside. Ecto means outside. Outside of the body. It comes from two Greek words being put together, one meaning I carry and the other meaning stimulating. And the first one that was isolated was called bombicol. And that was identified by a German chemist named Adolf Butenandt. And here in the diagram, it shows it's an aliphatic hydrocarbon. Every angle represents a carbon atom. And then the associated hydrogens are there, but we don't show them. It's a way of briefly informing this. And then we have a couple of double bonds down here at the end. And then we have an OH here representing an alcohol on the end. I've told you before that when you get experts talking, some will say, hey, there's 5 different ones of these. And some will say, no, there's 10. And some will say, no, there's just 3. No, there's actually only 2. Okay. Some of the experts say there are 10 different kinds of pheromones. So we're going to go with that tonight. I've seen others who say 3, and I've seen those who say 5. So the types of pheromones include alarm, aggression, epididic, releaser, primer, signal, territorial, trial, sex, and then the broad category of other, which has a whole bunch in it. So we'll look at these one at a time. First, alarm pheromones. They're made of, consist of monoterpenes, sesquiterpenes, sesqui means 7, short chain aliphatic hydrocarbons like we saw on the slide before. And up here we have examples of the sesquiterpenes. And here we have the monoterne. And then aliphatics are long strings. One of the things that you'll see a lot of these have in common is the benzene ring. Benzene is able to go into the air easily. And that's one of the things that you see a lot with pheromones, is that they move into the air and they spread through the air in order to affect others. So, alarm pheromones. Bees have them. And so when a bear steals honey, the bees will start secreting these pheromones that call in other bees and say, alarm, alarm, somebody's stealing our honey. And they come in to sting them. In the middle one, this man has been stung by fire ants. And there's a fire ant down below. I'm very familiar with these. They're very common in Texas. Where fire ants have moved in, ticks are gone, and many other things. They make mounds on the ground. You step in one, you will regret it because they will attack by the thousands. They have killed people. They have killed horses. The stings are very, very painful. I went camping once near San Antonio, and one of the couples I was with, them and their little girl, pitched their tent on what turned out to be a fire ant mound. And in the middle of the night, they were attacked. Major problem. Hermit crabs there, they put out pheromones that cause alarm. If something is attacking the hermit crabs, they'll put out a pheromone into the water to warn others. Tomato plants put out pheromones to give alarm. So it's not just animals. Even bacteria can put out pheromones. Next one is aggregation. There are several functions for an aggregation pheromone. It works for mate selection. Mate puts that out to tell the female that I'm a good person. Lets mates know that females are receptive. They're good for overcoming host resistance by a mass attack. It will aggregate a whole bunch of them together. And it's a defense against predators. Now, the one that I've got pictured there is the boll weevil, which at one time was a major cause of destruction of the cotton industry in the southern United States. Nowadays, there is a cotton that has its own insecticide in it that kills boll weevils, and they're much less of a problem. Next, we have the epididic. Epididic means a show or a display. And it's sort of a spacing hormone. It regulates population density. When an organism puts out an epididic pheromone, it's letting others know, this is my place. Go somewhere else. For instance, with this fly, put down eggs. Find another location. This is mine. A releaser pheromone. It causes an immediate response in the recipient. Most pheromones take longer, but this one is immediate. So a mother rabbit will put out a releaser pheromone that will cause the baby rabbits to come and suckle. Here we have a primer hormone. Pheromone. I got to quit saying that. Hormones are within the body. This is outside the body. Pheromone. It produces a long-term effect on the physiology of the creature it's affecting, changing the behavior of that creature. So it's used to regulate, to aid for reproduction, to give social policing. So it's really common in social insects like ants and bees. Bees have different jobs. This pheromone helps them realize what job they have so they can do it. Task allocation. Who's supposed to do what? Who's supposed to feed the eggs? Who's supposed to take care of beating their wings to keep the hive cool? Who's supposed to go out and find food? Okay? All of that is regulated by the primer pheromones, not the royal jelly that's given to queens. That's a different one. Signal pheromones. These are ones we see frequently. Well, you don't see the pheromone, we see the effect of it. And it causes an immediate effect in a neurotransmitter in the brain. So we have lordosis. When cats, rats, and elephants, I like that expression because it's in the song about unicorns, cats and rats and elephants. But anyway, those are three of the animals that the fact that the animal is in estrus, the female, is identified by the pheromones that they're giving off. Territorial pheromones. They mark the boundaries, the identity of an organism's territory. This is my area, this whole yard, this whole place. This is mine. And so dogs will, this pheromone is in their urine. And that's why they will go around and mark places with their urine, letting others know, stay away. It's also used for nuptial gifts. Seagulls will give a gift to a potential mate, maybe food, and they'll cover it with this pheromone in order to entice. Trial pheromones. These are found especially in social insects like ants and wasps and forest tent caterpillars, which is pictured there. And it's often used to mark the route to food. So ants and bees will mark a trail to food that they have found. Now, those forest tent caterpillars, when I lived in Corpus Christi, and I would drive over to my boss's house when I was doing real estate appraisal, and in the backyard were trees that were completely covered with those white webs and the worms, and they'd be hanging down on fine threads, and you'd be walking all through. It's really disgusting. Pharaoh ants use these not as an attractant but a repellent, so that when a trail for food has been used up, all the food's gone, then they will mark that trail with the pheromone that tells other pharaoh ants, stay away. You don't want to go this way, there's no food left. Sex pheromones. These pheromones inform males of receptive females. They're found in everything from bacteria to plants to large mammals, but not humans. Sort of. This is controversial, mostly because perfume companies want you to believe in it. That if you get the right odor, you're going to attract men. Humans do produce them, especially in your sweat glands, like in your underarms. But humans do not have a vomeronasal gland, which is what most animals have in the nose. Nasal means in the nose, and that picks up the pheromones. Now, technically, we do have it. It's also called the Jacobson's organ. However, in us, it's vestigial, meaning it doesn't work anymore. So, do pheromones work on, sex pheromones work on humans? No one's been able to prove it yet. Because as far as we know, we can't really detect them. But as I said, perfume companies push this real hard. And I'm sure that that diagram was made for a perfume company. Although I will admit, I did like my wife's Chanel No. 5. Some in the category of other. There's the royal pheromones found in bees. That has to do with the royal jelly that is only given to queens. It makes the queen. And then when the queens come out, they fight and kill each other, or one leaves and takes everybody with her that she can. There's Nasonov pheromones, which are found in worker bees. There's a calming or appeasement pheromone that's found in mammals to help them to relax. There are necromones. Necro means dead. So they're given off by things that have died, are deceased, they're decomposing. And it consists mostly of oleic and linoleic acids. And those allow crustaceans and hexapods to identify the presence of dead conspecifics. So, what's this all leading up to? The lab we're going to do tonight. You may have heard of roly-polies. I think that's probably the most common name in the United States. Although doodlebugs is used a lot in the U.S. These are some of the names that are used in English-speaking countries for the same thing exactly. They're called a woodlouse, plural would be woodlice, pillbugs, pill millipedes, cheesy bugs, cheese logs, slaters, grammar sows, gramphers, butchie boys, boat builders, chisel bobs, wood pigs, timber pigs, monkey peas, pea balls, pishimares, potato bugs, tomato bugs. Now, potato bugs is supposed to be in England, but I've heard people here using it. Tomato bugs, sow bugs, chuggy pigs, chuggy pegs, chucky pigs, crunchy bats. That's interesting. Wood bugs, carpenters, granny grays, billy buttons, doodle bugs, parson pigs. And growing up in Ohio, suburban Ohio, where we had our back porch, the concrete had a hole built into it, and a garbage pail was put there. And that's where you put all your garbage. And when you'd open it up, it'd be filled with these things. And so we called them garbage worms. And there are actually two different kinds. One is called a roly-poly. Scientific name is Armadillum vulgare. It's an isopod. It's a non-insect arthropod. Remember, arthropods are one of the, I think it's the largest phylum, and most of them are insects. But this is not an insect. It is a terrestrial crustacean. As a matter of fact, there are very few terrestrial crustaceans. I only know of two, the two we're talking about tonight. They're quite harmless. They have gills. And what sets these apart is that they do roll up when they're threatened, and they make a ball, because that hard chitin shell helps to protect them. But it's amazing that they're on land, and yet they have gills for breathing. Their very close relative is called the sow bug, and its scientific name is Porcellio scaber. It is it does not roll up into a ball. It runs away when it's threatened. And they also are quite harmless. For the most part. So what we're going to do tonight is called an ethology lab. Ethology means the study of behavior. So we're going to do a lab where we look at the behavior of these little crustaceans. If you draw a squiggly circle with a blue or red Bic ballpoint pen on a piece of paper. These guys will follow it because that Bic pen ink has a chemical in it that is a pheromone for these guys. It also, the same pheromone works on termites. It follows the line because it has the pheromone. I did not think I'd be able to tell you what chemical it was because this is a proprietary secret. And ballpoint pens have been a big deal. The Russians were not able to make a ballpoint pen that worked like ours did. And it was very frustrating for them. And I'm sure they put a lot of agents into trying to get the secret. But it's now published that at least this pheromone chemical that is found in the Bic pen is 2-phenoxyethanol, 1,4,5. The 1,4,5 identifies where there's something different. The molecular formula is C8H10O2. Fairly small. It does have that benzene ring there. Right there. That's a benzene ring. The double lines refer to double bonds, which are actually hybridized and spread out throughout the whole thing. So a benzene ring is very strong. It's hard to break apart. And it's very volatile, so it dissolves into the air. These labs have been done for years, and there have been many different ways of doing them. You could try different brands of ballpoint pens to see if anything else works. You can use other types of pens, or use pencils or highlighters or something. You can try different colors. You can test the two species, roly-polies versus sow bugs. Do they do the same thing? You can draw a Y and see, is there a preference for direction of turning? Do they tend to go to the right or tend to go to the left? Or it doesn't matter. You can draw a figure 8 and see if they'll follow that. Another one that I found is a question, is it the ink that's making it, or is it the indentation in the paper? So if you made an indentation in the paper without ink in it, would they still follow that? So there's lots and lots of possibilities, and I'll bet you could come up with others. And that's what we're going to let you do tonight. We have a selection of these bugs, a selection of pens and paper, and we're going to let you try all that in our lab. Thank you.
I'll give a call out as soon as I get to the lab. Okay, Caitlin, come on down. Pull hard.
Need you to push on the table.
Yeah. Set it up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Ankit, come on down. Okay, Evan, come on down.
Now, in a school classroom lab,
Yeah. David, will you show Evan where you want him?
in a school classroom lab, you would pick one thing to test. You only have one hypothesis. But in reality, in research labs, you test a lot of things at the same time. So you guys are going to be able to choose what you want to test.
If you get an itchy, scratching feeling on the inside of your suit when you're working with these bugs, yeah, just sing out.
Oh,
you know.
I did not mention this pheromone. It's also a chemical irritant. Now, I don't know how much of an irritant it is because several things referred to it as harmless, and I've had students work with these before without any problem. But it does have a label on it that says irritant. You can buy gallons of this chemical. It's actually a precursor for making some things in industry. I'd recommend that everybody try a red or blue Bic pen first so that you can see the effect. And you can, if you want, just draw a circle and you'll be able to see whether or not it runs the trail. Do you remember which is which?
These roll up and these don't.
What's it say is the name? Armadillium. Yes, that is the roly-poly.
Okay, I'm gonna open it.
They have to have a moist environment. If you were culturing them, you'd keep them in moist dirt. They ship them in wet paper towels, and they're in there. You just have to hunt for them. There's a lot of them. Sure. You got gloves. My students did this without gloves. Don't puncture it. Now, the only thing is, it is illegal, even if they were not an invasive species, it is illegal to release those into the wild. So we do have to terminate all of them at the end of the experiment. These are almost ubiquitous. You find them almost everywhere in the world.
Get in front of him.
Wait, he's not following the
Yeah, mine's not following the line either.
Try putting him inside the circle.
I think mine just died.
Is it upside
Looks
down?
like it to me.
Yo, mine's just going away.
I think although he might be feeling threatened because they roll up when they.
I'm gonna just let him relax for a second.
Whisper sweet nothings. Now, one paper I read said that the red works the best. Is that a red big pen? And Kit?
Yeah.
Okay. Put him inside the circle and see if he follows.
I think Evans is pretty well toast.
He's alive. I saw him
Yeah.
with his antennas. He's just very.
Mine is just going across.
Might be close to death, but
Yeah, they're not.
Maybe try another pen.
I'm beginning to wonder if they've changed the formula in their ink.
That's what I was concerned about.
Yeah, I know. And I tried to check it out, and schools are still doing this lab.
I've got some pens in the other room. I'm gonna go get them.
Okay.
Oh.
They're completely ignoring me.
Yeah, this pen doesn't work either.
Oh, he's on the move.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of following the... Oh, wait, no. It followed for a bit there.
Well, let's try the sow bugs and see if that makes a difference.
Thank you. Oh, these are way faster.
him in the middle of that and see if it makes a difference. I bared down real hard to get a lot of ink on it. No. And I have watched this work beautifully before. You boxed him in. That's actually acting more like a repellent than an attractive.
Evan, why don't you try, give your green pen to Ankit. He's got a different kind of bug. Ankit, try that, because Evan seems to have got a response on the bug that he was working with.
Oh, okay.
See what happens when you throw
For
a
a
salad
second,
bug.
it was.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Definitely not. Okay.
See what happens if you draw a square around him. If he'll cross it. Yep, no problem at all. This is most disappointing. I think this lab is a bust. We did not do sow bugs in our lab. We did just the roly-polies. But worked beautifully. You're going to give him physical barriers.
Try this one.
Those don't need back though.
Nope. Okay.
Take those scissors and cut that one. Helps to do the right thing.
Hey, David, on some of these big pens, is there a trick to get them started?
They're probably.
There's some plastic on like the tip you have to take out.
You have to do, yeah, I'm seeing a plastic on the end of it, it looks like.
Is it one of the new pens or one of the old ones I brought?
Yeah, you have to rip the plastic off.
Yeah, it's a bit hard with gloves on.
Okay. Then you get it off and it works. Okay. And he could care less. Okay.
I got several reports here from 2019 that it was still working. And it says especially blue or black ink in a Bic ballpoint pen.
Did you order Renegade brand?
Oh, that might.
Yeah.
March of 2021.
Did the bugs form a union and pass a law and say you can't put that in their ink anymore? No. Okay. Well, just think about how much fun you'll have putting that in your sister's cornflakes.
Maybe I should have gotten termites.
No. There's wood in this house.
Well, I really don't understand it. A report from March in 2021. They did the same thing and it worked. Any of those black? I think I see. And that's a Bic, one of the new Bics. Maybe they got COVID and they can't smell. You want to try the other part of the experiment we talked about?
What's that when we...
Termination by radiation. Just right, quite frankly, I feel like frying these suckers. Oh, no, that's a hole. Okay. No, really, it did look like maybe a bug was crawling on your leg, but it's not. Of course, they're not bugs, they're crustaceans. Any suggestions on what we could do that would test why they're not working?
Do we have any like pens that are older, maybe? Like,
No, no, these were just airshipped to us. We got them yesterday. And I honestly have no idea why they're not working.
is there anything that has the pheromone in it that's not like a big pen?
Not that I'm aware of. But there has to be because it's used industrially. Although it may be changed when they use it industrially. Found in vaccines. Has a role as an anti-infective agent and a central nervous system depressant. Germicidal, germostatic, and you can buy it from Sigma Aldrich if you're not me. They refuse to sell to me. The starting agent to synthesize the oxyorganodiselenides derivative. It's used in lubricants, greases, polishes, waxes, coating products, washing and cleaning products, filters, putties, plasters, modeling clay, adhesives, sealants, antifreeze products, and cosmetics and personal care products. Machine wash liquids and detergents, automotive care products, paints, coatings of adhesives, fragrances, and air fresheners. Sounds like it's in everything.
Try this. Do a circle around him, quick. Nope. Negative. Okay. Nope.
I had high hopes, but no. See if he'll cross that line. That may not have anything to do with the pheromone. That might be simply because it's sticky. I think we're safe to give up on this lab.
Okay.
I don't know why it won't work, but it won't work. Can I get back those 3 pens that I gave you? Those purple, black, and red. Vision Elite. There's 2. And then there should be one that's slightly different, but it's red. Is that this one? No, this one, yeah. Thank you. Gotta have the red. I'm grading the papers this week.